Happy Friday, y'all. Super excited to be here for Friday fun. Are you ready for some fun, Anna?
Yes, very much so.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you.
What do Fridays mean for you in your world? Is it like the end of the week or it's just another day? What's Fridays like for you?
Honestly, it's just another day. Uh, do you hear an echo?
I don't. Hey y'all, if you're watching us live, let us know if you hear an echo. I don't hear one.
Okay. So on Fridays, it's going to sound weird and a little bit woo, but Fridays are the day of the old goddess Venus.
Okay.
And it's said that that's when women are supposed to do self-care day. So on Friday nights, I usually do a whole like pamper session.
Okay, so what does the pamper section include?
Like face masks, a TV show, usually like an Asian soap opera with subtitles is my thing. And I order in something delicious with dessert. But really, it's like the face mask thing. I do my pedicure, I do a hair mask, I do my eyebrows. It's just like all the beauty regimen.
Gotcha. Interesting. I had not heard or thought of that before. What is it about the Asian soap operas that draw you in?
When things are too simple, I get bored. So I can't watch regular TV. I mean, I have no Netflix, I have no Amazon Prime. I have Amazon Prime because of the Asian soap operas, actually. But it's, I guess it's you're immersed because you have to read and follow along, and you're just going based off of the emotions. And you know that I do face recognitions and micro expressions. So for me, it's like I'm watching it in English. It's just actually having me focus. And I get to tune out other things. It's one of the only things that gets me to like actually watch TV.
Because you're watching the faces and you're trying to read and all of that all at once.
Yeah, but I can do it. It's like easy. It's not like a complicated thing, but I know that what I've noticed is that's the only thing to actually retain my focus. Whereas if I watch a regular TV show in English, within 10 minutes, I'm like, I already know what's going to happen. I already know I know the ending. I know who the bad guy is. I know how it's going to end up. And now I want it. And I'm like flicking through the channel. Like, I guess in English, it's too easy to see what happens or to,
Gotcha. It's engaging different parts of the brain.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. You can just call me ADD, and that's why.
Gotcha. Well, so speaking of you, where in the world are you and what in the world is it that you do? We are here, and yes, we are talking about fun today. Asian soap operas is the first on my list of fun things for people, but I always love those diverse, different things. So tell us a little bit about the business side of you.
So, like, you want a synopsis, or you want to know what I do now?
Which would you prefer?
I
Let's
can
talk
do
about what you do today to get us started.
Okay, cool. So now I coach coaches and entrepreneurs how to grow their business, and it kind of not kind of it became a passion because, as you know, I have multiple coaches, and I was an entrepreneur since I was 22, and from 22 until 30, I struggled, and I was so depleted. I had a marketing agency, like changed the name various times as I grew. I ended up having partners. Like it was a full on agency. I still have a company that I founded in Pakistan that does a lot of outsourcing. So it's for frugal people. Um, and I was doing red carpet events in Hollywood. I had an Airbnb that I had not remodeled, but like redone on the inside. Um, I was exhausted and I was barely making over 100,000, and it was at the cost of my femininity. It was at the cost of my energy. It was at the cost of my patience. It took so much out of me. And it wasn't until I met coaches that got me on the right path where now I'm able to be even more productive than I was before. I'm able to have consistency with like regulating my hormones, which regulates my emotions, and even my communication style. I'm from immigrants, and so I didn't realize that I never put the effort into being understood. And so I kept on having content marketing. And so I kept having, when I have a client, I can grab all of their information and make a perfect plan that yields high results and all of that. But when it comes to myself, it was like I was talking to walls and no one understood what I did. That was a communication issue. I never learned how to listen properly, and I was very judgmental, so I jumped the gun a lot. People don't like that feeling. But you see what I mean? Like, I've learned so much in 3 years that I originally wanted to be a therapist when I was young, and to me, this is better than therapy. It's gotten me to see things that I didn't see before. I'm not just talking about my problems, there's a solution to it. And so my greatest goal now is to help on coaches that make a difference actually make more money, because people need to learn, and then they're desperate to learn, like, how do I do this? And there's nothing worse than the feeling of like, what's wrong with me? Why am I not yielding the results someone else is? Why am I having issues with relationships? Why am I, you know what I mean, etc.
So you mentioned you working with coaches. I'm always curious to hear what type of coaches people work with, because I've worked with, all kinds of different coaches over my time, and I'm a big believer, yes, in coaches. Like, when I look at my life, the plateaus are when I'm not working with a coach. The growth is always, and it doesn't even have to be like, I had my coach before last was a health coach. And so we're focusing on exercising and eating, but it bled into the business life. Right now I'm working with
It always
mindset,
does.
and it bleeds into other things. And so very rarely is it just what it is. But what are some of
Yeah.
the type of coaches you've worked with first, personally? And then what kind of coaches do you work with as clients?
Gotcha. So I'll bring up two that were the most impactful. One is Shiraz Babo, and he is an energetic reality interventionist. He calls himself reality interventionist. I say energetic because what I studied is, there's a lot of people that are say like, oh, it's woo woo and it's not real, but science is now finally catching up and they're identifying it as unidentified science. And so when he is essentially asking me questions, am I willing to step out of a story, and I confirm it, he's actually igniting my chi, and then that's why he coughs and yawns. And working with him allowed me to uncover unblocked, or like, I had blocked memories from my childhood that were traumatic, that when they came out, I was able to deal with them. And that directly changed my personality. Meaning, it's like the brain scientifically here's like all your potential. In the middle that's blocking that is a traumatic event, or some sort of a block. It doesn't even have to be trauma. It just has to be a block that you don't want to remember something. And here I am. So I have to get through this block in order to achieve that part of my productivity or potential, if you will. I love him to death. He's like got a really great program, and I think his promise right now for his high ticket program is getting entrepreneurs to seven figures in 2 years or less.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm just going to throw up here on, because y'all know me, I like to throw links. So bit.ly/ then capital TKS. Bit.ly is capital sensitive. So bit.ly / TK Shiraz. That's my kind of link to go. He hosts an event the second Monday of every month, I think, from at 1 and at 8. You can go in, check it out for free, and see what Anna is talking about. Yeah. Because that's how we met each other. We're both part of his community. He is really good at I say he takes all that mind trash and clears it out.
Yeah. Well, and I grew up in LA where it was very cutthroat and like everyone wants to be a shark. And I was very pure hearted before. And then I kind of turned and was like, okay, well, then this is how it is. By meeting him, I got to believe again and be like, no, that's not how it is. There are dolphins and people that want to help each other. It's not just how can I get something out of this. And that has been probably the biggest reward, is understanding that business does not have to be done the way we've been brainwashed to believe it is. It's a lot more fun when you are making money together with your friends. It's a lot more like you can just chill and relax without having to worry so much. Anyway, so my other coach is Nancy Kasdan. Let me see if I'm saying her name correctly. But she is a sales coach, and really she's a communication specialist. Um, yeah, Kasdan International. Um, there we go. So Nancy Kasdan specializes in international communications, and she trains people on sales. What is fascinating, I mean, she comes from corporate and like trained corporate guys on in hedge fund how to make things. She's phenomenal. When she worked with me, that's actually how I discovered that I had a communication. I
Mm.
have I have had a listening problem. I didn't know that I wasn't listening effectively. And what she taught me was that we talked about it, and it's like the environment that I grew up in, I didn't have a voice. And so I grew up feeling like I needed to fight for my place in this world, essentially. Or I would get super excited and talk over people, or there's various things that I did that I didn't know I was doing. And she also said, when based off of the patterns that I had, she called me out and she was just like, that's because you're very judgmental, which is also something Shiraz told me. And it's what they're explaining to me is the more judgmental that I am with myself, the more
Mm.
judgmental that I am with others. And so I'm constantly trying to be more compassionate with myself to tone that down because I can see it now. And something changes when it's not the same as when everyone's telling you you have a problem and you're like, do I have a problem? It's more like your body calms down to such a state that it can recognize, oh, that's why people had issues with me. My motives were always pure and coming from my heart, but the way that they came out, no matter what your intention is, if you're not giving people if I'm not giving the other person a safe space to feel their own energy, to feel at ease, to ask questions when they want to ask for further explanation without me going, oh, I have to explain this. Like, and I in my head, I guess I thought that a lot of people knew the things that I did, and they really, Nancy especially, really got me to see like you're kind of not nice. You're kind of like aggressive,
Mm.
and I when she kind of when she explained it in a way that I could understand, I really got it, and I replayed other memories in which people tried to tell me the same thing, but it wasn't seeping through. And it was like I got to let me explain it this way. I got to for the first time see, oh, the way that I thought I communicated with people is not kind and loving. And
Um,
that's why my results have been very little, because no one wants to do business with someone that they feel belittled by or arguing with, or you know what I mean? When you're struggling already, you want to go to someone that's going to make you feel like everything is going to be okay.
yeah.
And I wasn't doing that. And so another thing is, I didn't know that I was doing close-ended questions, trying to lead them to the sale instead of asking open-ended questions to understand what their worries and concerns might be. And the way that she taught me sales is a lot more compassionate and loving. And I'm like, oh, I can do this. I don't feel like a fraud doing this.
Yeah, I think about sales as, can we have the conversation that leads us to a good fit for both of us? If we have to do like those pushy closing techniques, not that there's not value in, okay, actually asking for the sell. And like, let's have a conversation. I don't need to offer you my product or service if it's not going to be right for you, because then nobody's happy.
Yeah, and I come from the world of like you try and grab anyone that you can, and it's very lack and desperate energy, and that's something that I really had to uncover and understand. And I was like, oh, which is how I got into all of this actually.
Yeah.
When I was doing the marketing for clients, I'd have like a business come and they would have two different people that would put in the ticket for paid ads, and the guy was always super happy and optimistic, like, hey, how are you? La da 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 da. And the girl was very much like had an attitude and like
Mm.
very low vibe kind of thing. What I kept noticing is that his results when he would put in the ticket would yield much higher return than she did. I'm talking almost double. And this wasn't just with them, this was with multiple other accounts that I was having at the time. And I didn't understand it. I'm like, what is going on? Now I'm like, oh, energy is literally everything. Science is proving that. And when you are excited about marketing and you're excited about placing ads and you believe that you're going to yield results, that's what happens. If you are thinking this doesn't work and it's a waste of time, you're not going to get the results that you want. And it's something that, I mean, even now we're placing ads. I still have the company. And so we're placing ads for my mom's business and we're not telling her because she's like, no, it doesn't work. Like, and she's getting leads. But when I tell her, she doesn't get the leads.
Gotcha.
It's very interesting.
So talk to us a little bit more. I know we've kind of talked about, coaches and the passion behind it. Tell us a little bit more about your business currently, who you work with, what you're helping them create.
So I help coaches of all kinds, as long as you have a program that benefits people or helps people in some capacity. I'm your girl, because I did the same thing with marketing. I had different niches, and honestly, I love it. I get to secretly, I get to learn so much from everybody. I feel like, yes, I'm doing marketing for you and helping you grow your business and training you in that aspect, but I have to immerse myself in your business to understand who you are, what you do, how you do it, how it impacts others, and how you place in the market and how we're going to get you the highest return. So I've worked with people that, do you want to know what kind you said, or?
Well, so, I mean, just, tell us, you can tell us a little bit about some of your clients that you've worked with or what kind of services that you're offering to them. I mean, just give us kind of a little bit of a 30,000 foot view.
Okay, so I work with all sorts of coaches, but primarily mindset coaches. I do have another person that's a sales coach and a lady that trains people on how to, like the horses that buck and they buck people off of them. She trains the people that are on the horse. So I have a wide variety. I'm not really, unless I don't know about the industry or can't know about the industry, then I tell them I can't help them. It would take too much time for me to engage. And then what I offer them is, honestly, it's several steps just to create a very strong foundation. In my experience, let me put this on do not disturb, sorry. In my experience, most entrepreneurs, business owners do not have a strong marketing foundation. And when you build a house, you have to have a very strong foundation so it doesn't collapse under pressure. Most entrepreneurs don't have that same foundation for their business, and they often collapse under pressure. And so the first thing that I have them do is an abundant identity roadmap, which is about 5 different tiers, and it asks you about your core identity. So who you are as a person, what you stand for, your values, and morals. Then we go into your business identity, and 9 times out of 10, that doesn't actually match the person because they think, oh, I have to be big boss and all these different things. And of course, it's not working for you. You need to align to it. You need to feel excited about your business, proud about your business.
Yeah.
So once we rectify that, we move on to the, what is it? Core identity, business identity, avatars, which is the ideal client that you would love to work with. So for me, it's entrepreneurs, honestly, making between 50,000 and 100,000 are my favorite. Because payment isn't an issue, but they are at that catapult where they're willing to do anything to get the results. And then when they get the results, they're excited. And I love that part. But once we do so that's the avatar, and we go into detail the way that Taco Bell does. Taco Bell has a client avatar. I think his name is Todd or something. No, it's Chad. And he's a high school dropout that works and delivers pizza on the weekend. And they have a picture of him everywhere at the Taco Bell Marketing Corporation. But it's so important because when you talk about branding, execution of delivery, all these different tiers, when you understand who you're actually talking to and you remember that, it's so much easier for the artwork is aligned with the message, because you know that Chad wants Taco Bell at 2 a.m.
I know. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, yeah, it is totally, Taco Bell does not market to me.
Yeah.
It is totally meant for, I see that.
Yeah. And so that's what we create for coaches. And once we do that, we actually go into the ego identities. And I basically call this your alter ego. Often there's a lot of pressure in business because we think we need to perform and it's our business. And we have I attach myself to abundant coaches, and abundant coaches is me. No. Abundant coaches is a business, like a corporation, that hires me, and it hires me for the position of sales, hires me for the position of podcasting, for doing the job itself. There's different characters that I need to play, just like a Sims game, within this company. When you separate that, your ego is no longer involved as much with the idea that I need to succeed. So that's my first thing. I lower the pressure. But really, and I also explain to them, I come from LA, born and raised, Burbank, California, Hollywood. Like Burbank has NBC, ABC studios, like all of the Cartoon Network, they're all there. I went to high school with all of them. And I learned that if you look at Beyonce, Slim Shady, they all have alter egos that they step into, and that's how they're able to stay at that top level. Kanye West, these are all famous people that mostly everybody knows, and they have managed to stay at the top of the food chain in the entertainment industry for decades. The reason for that is that they have these alter egos that they step into, and they also have one at home. They have different ways of doing that, and that's what I teach people to do in their business. So today I'm on your podcast. Most of the time when I ask someone how they show up and what their alter ego characteristics should have, it says excited, energized, informative, super educational. And I reel it back and I'm like, no, stupid, you're a guest. It's like going to your neighbor's. It's like going to your neighbor's house and being like, I'm the best. Look at me. Like your neighbor would look at you like a weirdo. When you go into a podcast, you are an expert in your field as a guest on someone else's show, and you're humble. You show gratitude. You are kind. You are generous. And that's what yields you higher results. People love that. People want you back when you're like that. And it's the same thing with sales. I talked to a girl that was doing hypnotherapy, wasn't getting any sales at all. And when she was telling me and she was like super, like, lack of a better word, very like, how do I say, she could talk men into doing anything. It was wild to me. I'm like, how do you do this?
She was using her feminine wiles.
But not in a prerogative way. It was just like, she had a way about her that she had been doing it so long that she could just easily, it's like Marilyn Monroe. But her sales weren't executing. And what I explained to her is that you're a mother and you're a woman. You're trying to do sales in a manipulative way, and you're trying to do sales like a man and tell people what they need to do. You need to tap into that nurturing factor as if you were talking to your daughter and explain to your daughter, this is what I do. This is how it can help you. This is what your pinpoint is. And this is how long it would take us to get there. If you want, I'd love to be able to help you, and tap into how you love your daughter. And people feel that. She made $16,000 in 1 week.
Nice.
So but it's the energy that you bring. And I tell people, it's like dating. If you're a woman, you can feel when a man wants to just take off your pants. And as a man, you can feel when a woman just wants to use you for a meal. It's the same as sales. When a person just wants the sale, they can feel that. You need to actually care about what you're doing and care about how it's going to impact them, because they feel that. And we're in an era where people are craving authenticity. I focus on trends, and we're back to like the 90s. And that's why you're seeing people liking cringe. You're seeing like the aesthetics being like weird and wonky, because people are at the point where we were so tightly wound, like, you can't do this, you can't say this, you blah, blah, blah. And now they're just rebellious teenagers saying like, I don't want this, I'm suffocated. And with that is we're leaving the essentially like the picture perfect 80s where like families still wanted to be the nuclear family and all of that. And we're going into the rebellion, but the rebellion is just there because they want authenticity. And so anyone that's doing their sales still in a manipulative way, they're going to have a really hard wake up call, especially in the coming years. It's already started.
Yeah. And I think the younger generations are looking for something different.
Yeah.
You know, and it's always funny. It's like, oh, the younger generation or the old generation, like, hey, we're trying stuff out. What works, what doesn't work. I feel like the younger generation is much more about the community as a whole.
Yeah.
And, how we be a part of it. What's that social give back and all of those kind of things. So,
yeah, like, I look at different, how do I say, detectives say what when they find clues. Okay. I find clues to understand what the trajectories are going to be. I do my own analytics. One of the biggest things that you just touched on is if you're on TikTok, you can't cheat on your spouse anymore. The TikTok kids will find you and expose you, and they move by the masses.
Wait, what? Okay.
Yes.
So, all right. So just to full disclosure, I have a TikTok account that I put like 3 videos on 2 years ago and nothing else. I am not TikTok cool.
That's the youngest demographic.
But so you can't cheat on your spouse if you're on TikTok, because
if you are on if you are on a flight and a girl or a boy with TikTok is sitting next to you watching you text your mistress, or if you're a man or a woman, that boy or girl will look at your phone, and then you say a call like, yeah, I'm so glad that my wife doesn't know about us, I'm divorcing her. Any of those things, they're not children anymore because they're in their 20s. I'm a millennial 33. They're like 28 now and younger, but they will go on TikTok and say, TikTok, if you are married, if you're married to a man named Brad and he's on the way to Las Vegas right now from Toronto, he's cheating on you with la da 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 da, and he said this and he said that. TikTok, do your thing. And it goes viral. It blows up. They always find the girl or the guy being cheated on. There's an old man that did this too. He was like, he's like boomer age and he's on TikTok and dashingly handsome for some reason. Did the same thing. He's like, I felt so bad for this guy because this girl was trying to sleep with me and la da 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 da. TikTok, do your thing. Guy found her, cheated. It's like, and it's a movement, but it even though it's entertaining, to me, wildly entertaining, it's the fact that they are so organized, and once they have a goal, they unify so easily to execute that goal. I am so interested to see what they do in the future, because even though this is like not something that changes the world, it kind of does though, because like now people are kind of cheating.
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder. I mean, not that that should be a good thing, but with all the stuff going on in the world, it gets harder and harder. Not that there's not ways around it. Anyway,
yeah, but
now I know you talked about like there's 5 things that you do in your session, and we've only talked about a handful of those. However, we've only got so much time, y'all, and I want to make sure, because I'm going to ask you about fun again in a minute, but I know you have something going on December 29th. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yes, on December 29th, I am going to I'm having an event called Marketing on a Budget, because most coaches do not hit 6 figures. Most coaches cap out at about $30,000 a year. And that's
crazy.
I know it's crazy. You get a coach to get to your goal faster. That's number one. It's not better, worse, it's get there faster. But there's such a stigma because people are scared they're going to get whatever the issue is, right? My goal is to give them results and give them power. And I basically teach them a bunch of tricks that I thought people knew, but don't and I share them everywhere. So I don't care. One of them is, if you don't have a budget, like if you're not able to place ads, but you have content on social media and people do follow you, and it's a business page, every single follow, I follow back and I DM them and I'm like, hey, are you here for the content or are you looking to grow your business? You give them that option. Number one, they followed my business account, so I'm not in any issue of harassing them. Number two, I'm giving them the opportunity to explain to me if they actually want to grow their business so that I can coach them or if I should leave them alone and thank them for the follow because we're grateful. Grateful. There you go.
Grateful.
And
With grace.
yes. And you'd be surprised at how many sales you can actually end up getting out of that. And when you don't, even if you don't have that, like sometimes I'll offer 30-minute sessions to random people for a video review. That's something that people don't do either. And I'm like, you do things for free anyways, get the video review. I'm like, and like another way of poaching, especially if it's for an advertisement, is you want to do a hook, how it benefits them, any proof or review of like, and I helped my other client make $16,000 in a week, something like that to show, expose your expertise, and a call to action. Often the call to action is either like, share, or subscribe. I tell people to make it engaging. So say something like, drop an emoji if you want to know more about how to make $100,000 in 2 years or less. DM me ready if you're looking to catapult your business to the next level. You're poaching them to be more engaged with you. These are little tiny tweaks that if you add them all together, you end up actually bringing something in. And with that, I also go into how to allocate those funds to make more funds, meaning which avenue you have to understand where, like I said, ideal client. Each ideal client has a different platform that's best for them. Sometimes email is the best one. Sometimes, and then another one that I like a lot is you don't have to do SEO to like get a lot of views on your website, but you do at least have to do several blog posts per week to be somewhat relevant. And you can do that by yourself. You don't need a coder. And so we go into that too. These are all steps that you can do that aren't crazy.
Right. So your event's going to be on December 29th. I think we're early, y'all. I think she's telling us before she's telling a lot of people. So I don't know that you can register yet, but you want to save the date December 29th. Where can people go to find out when it is up?
So you can follow me on anything as long as it says Abundant Coaches. I'm going to have it on the website once it's up. Like I said, we just talked about this yesterday.
Y'all are hearing it early. So this is, you're the first to hear.
So a part of that workshop is also going to be face rating for sales, meaning you have logic and emotions, but your emotions are smaller than your logic. So your logic will...
Oh, this sounds like this is going to be really worth going on the 29th, y'all.
Because if you do sales, so I'm looking at your face right now. I know you have awareness within yourself and others. I know that you have love. So you're both an emotional and a logical buyer, but you also have a rounder jaw. So you're not so... I'm more like, I need to know all the details because
don't give me the details.
I'm more rigid and I need to work on being round. Because you're round, you go with the flow more. So I don't have to focus on you to give you the details. You just want to know how it's going to benefit you, what the results are going to be, and how you're going to be happy. And you'll be like, okay, I'll buy. And another thing that you do is you're a thinker and you're a doer. So you have an even keel. So you're not going to overthink things and you're not going to be set in stone if it doesn't work out.
Nice.
Right. And this helps a lot with sales because you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know how to sell to you.
All right. So this sounds like a ton of fun. So I'm definitely, I don't typically like doing things on the weekend, but if it's intriguing enough, I'm going to be there. So I'm going to be there. Hopefully y'all are going to be there. I'll be promoting it. Stay tuned in my emails. I'll be sending stuff out in the next couple of weeks. We just have like a minute or two left though. And we talked about fun. We've got our Friday night self-care pampering ritual. We've got Asian soap operas. What else is it that you like to do for fun?
Oh, for fun.
Yeah.
Honestly, I got into podcasting because I liked to have online wars with people. I know.
That's the best reason I've ever heard for getting
into podcasting. I was in speech and debate in high school, and like there's Toastmasters, but there's nothing like arguing with people on the internet. And like I don't take it seriously most of the time. I'm just trying to argue the foundation and the structure in which they're trying to like argue with me with, and they get so mad. And here's one of the coolest things too. I mean, I don't recommend it. It's your preference. I think Peterson something used this hack to create his platform. He just made a bunch of rage bait. And so many people commented because they were angry at his post, and he would instigate in the comment section even more anger. And I don't know, it's the internet is a wild fun place. So like I do face readings on the podcast as well. So like I did one on Kamala Harris, and then I did one on Donald Trump, and then now I'm doing one this week on Melania Trump to like understand their personality and everything. It's really cool.
Interesting. I always love it when we can find those fun things that really make a difference that we didn't have any idea. Well, so Anna, you said Abundant Coaches is where you're at on the social. You're probably on way more platforms than I. Which platforms are you active on?
I don't know. I mean, everything. So not everything. There's a bunch of them. So Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google My Business. I think that's all of them.
So you can find her out there. Her website is abundantcoaches.com. You can check that out. You can continuously go back there, or just let me know. Hey, Tiffanie, let me know when the December 29th event is out and live, and we'll make sure that we get you that so we can all hang out at that event on the 29th. I'll be having my event Thrive in 25. Get ready, set, success. That will be happening on the 30th. And Hannah mentioned our coach Shiraz that we work with. He has something that's happening on the 31st. So stay tuned. There may be some bonuses in our VIP packages for each others to make it easy to get into all three, but more details coming. In the meantime, so I'm putting you on the spot here, Anna. In the month of November, we're doing a gratitude challenge, and each day corresponds to the letter of the alphabet. And so A is 1, and I think today we're on H. No. Yeah, we're on H today, I think. Yesterday was G. So is there any H things that you're grateful for? I'm grateful for my dog Harper and a fresh new haircut and just getting to be happy. Any H's that you want to share?
Oh my God, I do love gratitude lists. That's one thing that I've done since my early 20s. And it's like, if you don't do anything else, just do that. My health, because I was my health is significantly improved in the last 3 years. Nice. My hair, because it's like long again, and I'm like, oh, I feel like a girl. And hope. I think one thing that I really lost was bravery and courage. And as long as you have hope, you can get everything back.
Well, Anna, I want to say thank you so very much for being here with us today. It has been a pleasure to learn more about you and your business, what you do for the Abundant Coaches, which is such a synergistic thing. It's like Abundant Coaches, more Abundant Entrepreneurs. Yes, we have to get on together and play around together. I'm sure you're going to be seeing more of Anna and our more Abundant Entrepreneur community in the upcoming times. And hopefully we'll see y'all all on December 29th.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna. Thanks, everybody, for watching.